I'm Ellen. I am a PhD student at the Scripps Institute of Oceanography and UC San Diego. And so today I'm presenting some work we've been doing, those two institutions as well as the Data Science Institute, to build a general circulation model with JAX. So this is called the JAX-GCM, a differentiable intermediate complexity atmospheric model. And I'll briefly describe what those things are. So basically, traditionally, climate models are written in Fortran, and they can be compiled to perform efficiently on large HPC systems that are composed of CPUs primarily. And so there's a few things that are great about them in that they're efficient. They've been around for a long time. They encode a lot of well-understood physics and science. One of the things that's tough is that there are sometimes like millions of lines of code in these climate models, and it usually looks like something on the right. So that is actually an excerpt from a real Fortran climate model, and that is what most of the code looks like. Like you can pick out a couple of things you might recognize. That's like the gravitational constant, but it is generally difficult to read, difficult to port to other hardware. Optimizations are almost always specific to the hardware that the code was intended to run on when it was first written or has been run on. And then also you generally don't have gradients for these things. So you have all these different parameters that you can tune, sometimes hundreds of them, and they all kind of interact with each other. And we have to do that with gradient-free optimization or sometimes just based on scientific intuition. And so these models can be really hard to work with, especially as we are acquiring more data about the climate, which should ideally improve these models, but it can be hard to do that with the existing infrastructure. So recently, Google released a new model called Neural GCM, and there's two kind of components to a climate model. You usually have the dynamical core, which is integrating the Navier-Stokes equations, and so the dynamical core is usually actually very well defined. We have physical laws that we understand. We just discretize them and then integrate them in time. Then you have the physics parameterizations, which like in the atmosphere would encode how clouds form, how clouds and aerosols interact with each other, things that are highly nonlinear, poorly understood, not great observations of them. And so those two things are usually separate, the parameterizations and then the dynamical core. And so Neural GCM used a dynamical core written in JAX that's called Dinosaur, and then replaced all those parameterizations with a neural network. And so this was all written in JAX, which allows it to be run on a bunch of different platforms. It's a lot less code, also allows you to integrate a neural net with a dynamical core because everything has gradients, both the dynamics and the machine learning. And so what we wanted to do, this is sort of like the image used for Neural GCM, which is the dynamical core is on the sphere and then the parameterizations are in this box. We wanted to also write the parameterizations, not the neural net version, but the original versions from the Fortran in JAX as well, so that those are now differentiable and tunable. And so you would kind of have this ability to swap between neural nets, machine learned parameterizations, and the sort of original parameterizations that were generally designed by scientists. And you would be able to integrate them both with a dynamical core and swap between them or compare between them. And this is kind of an overarching schematic of the vision, which is that you would have the ability to learn online. So that means like with the dynamical core in the pipeline, you would actually be able to use machine learning algorithms to train what those parameterizations should be. Maybe that's how clouds form, maybe it's bias corrections. And you'd be able to take advantage of all of this data that we have out there. It's very hard traditionally to incorporate into the climate models directly. And that would primarily be because we have the gradients. But you could also, instead of learning a neural net, you could do like a tuning of parameterization. So you could do parameter estimation also now that we have these gradients. You can also do what in climate sciences is called data assimilation, but it's also really just an optimization problem where you try to find the optimal initial conditions to make your model look exactly like the real Earth, the real atmosphere, the real ocean, whatever it is. And then being able to do all these things, import them to different hardware, now allows us to relatively cheaply and efficiently generate large ensembles. And so in the past, we had to use these expensive ensembles to train parameters. Now we can actually use gradient-based methods to estimate the parameters, but then we might efficiently generate ensembles to get like uncertainty quantifications on those parameters, things like that. And so the idea is that we're just trying to kind of bring together all of these methods by providing the physics equations with the gradients and the opportunity to include the parameterizations, to include machine learned parameterizations in there as well. And so this is kind of like the whole point of this project, because usually when you combine machine learning and dynamical cores, it's called hybrid modeling. And comparing hybrid modeling methodologies to existing methodologies has been nearly impossible without the existence of gradients for those codes. Like, you can't really actually compare apples to apples, what methods are working better and when. And so that's why we built the JAX-GCM, which is called the JCM for short. And so it's quite simple. We took that dynamical core from Google. We wrote the actual Fortran parameterizations in Python and JAX. And now we have this fully differentiable model that actually doesn't have any machine learning, but can have machine learning in it if you want to. The idea, as I already mentioned, is that you would like plug and play these parameterizations. You'd use the ones that are the traditional kind of physics equations. You would use the ones that are neural nets. You can deploy it on whatever hardware you want. And then we've actually like gone ahead and validated against the Fortran baseline. So we have optimizations and examples where we can show that, you know, the JAX version is reproducing the Fortran version. We've also tried to use sort of more modern API style, try to make it relatively simple for people to interface with, so that you could use this for teaching as well as science, so that people can start playing around with it relatively easy. And so this is what it looks like to run the model. You import model, and there's a default version that you can initialize, and you sort of customize it as much as you want. And so I can show an example of that in a second. I have a demo notebook. But the other thing we can do is, because we have the forward and reverse gradients, we can look at things like sensitivities. So this is an example. If you were to perturb the model with a sea surface temperature, like a hot spot in the middle of the ocean, effectively, this is latitude and longitude. So latitude's on the y-axis and longitude's on the x-axis. And basically, this is the evolution of time forward, 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, and a handful of different variables. And you can basically, without going into the details, you can see how these variables are going to evolve forward in time. Should you, heat up the ocean, or should you remove a bunch of ice? And so that is a very cool, very practical application of having access to these gradients. So you can also see what would happen if you change the albedo of, the reflectivity of Antarctica or something like that. And so what we're working towards now is a coupled model, where right now all we have is an atmosphere, but we would like to also have an ocean and a land model. You have to model the trees, carbon cycle associated with plants. And so there are other groups at Columbia, at the University of Copenhagen, who are working on some of those, and we are working on a way to kind of couple them into the atmosphere. So eventually you would have coupled gradients, since all of these components will be written in JAX. And so we're currently working on a coupler that kind of looks something like this on the right, where your coupled model then has like an atmosphere and an ocean, and the coupled model run knows how long to run each of those components and how to exchange information between them. And so this is the ocean model that will be included is actually called Veros, and the land model is called Differland. But we've been building the atmospheric component. So this is kind of becoming a whole Earth system model. And so in summary, we've developed this differentiable atmospheric model. It has really easily extensible or swappable physics schemes. The gradients are available with respect to everything. So you can look at, the change in the outputs with respect to parameters or boundary conditions or initial conditions. You can calibrate physics schemes. We're prototyping coupled optimization. And so this is really a goal to make these large kind of this open community of all of these different models. And you could even have, multiple versions of each. You could have multiple atmospheric models. You could have multiple oceans. You could swap them between each other. So that's pretty much my talk. The one thing I was going to show is just kind of in practice what this really looks like. And I don't need to run this, but you can see that this is our logo. This is all you have to do to get the model up and running, is you just instantiate a model and you tell it how often to save the output and how long to run for, and these are in days. And then we have the ability to convert the output, the JAX output to X-ray. And so after that, this is if you run for 15 days from an aquaplanet that has no land and the atmosphere is completely at rest, takes 26 seconds to run 15 days and on my laptop. And then you can see that after 3 days, you've got this zonal, this horizontal wind that's spinning up. It's going west in one direction, east in the other direction, with the equator at the center. But you can do all kinds of things. So you can start loading in special geometries. You can load in forcings, which would be like if you wanted to use data of the surface temperature or the amount of sea ice or things like that, and you'll start to get much more realistic. Outputs. So we can do full simulations with realistic mountains and realistic surface conditions, things like that. So yeah, that is the end of my presentation.